Uh, first day into Rails, and now, only now, I start to explain to you the model view controller architecture. It's not the only architecture on the internet, but this is what that's what Rails embraces. Now, for us, we will use MVC, model view controller architecture. As your app becomes much bigger, people come up with different extra ways to make your app more, modular, easy to work with. So far, with this diagram, take a very quick look there, right? If I ask a question, let's see, Ian, where do you think this diagram starts? Where does it start? Do you think it starts at bottom? Ian, what do you think? Where does it start? Just look at this diagram. Where does it start?
The browser at one.
Yeah?
Number one.
Yeah. Man, Lloyd makes fun of me because I asked such a simple question. But it started at number one, but then it will go back to number one, right? You see, if you Google image, like go to Google Images and search for MVC, you get a lot of diagrams. And this is one of the easier one. Okay, that skips some of the names, difficult names that we see in Rails. So this hopefully is simple enough. Take a look there. From the Chrome browser, it starts from the browser. You type something in the URL, and then it goes to our server. Rails now use to look at the routes file and decide where to go. And then the routes file we can see, oh, okay, you go to /hey/hello, I'm going to the controller say. And now the controller can say, okay, is at step 3. Controller can see, okay, do I need to go to step 4? Or can I just go to step 7 to get the content? And after I finish getting the content, I return to the browser. So that's what we've done so far, only the left-hand side. Yeah? Now into the technicality. You can forget about this one for now, but let's imagine. If you go to a restaurant website, you go to the menu page, right? Look at the menu. So then the browser will go to the Rails, and then maybe Rails will go to the menu controller. Yeah? And menu controller will go to maybe an index action. An index action will want to render index.html, but to render that, the index action needs to look at the database to find what other items you have, what foods you're selling. We don't have that yet. These are the, what dishes do you have in your restaurant? So that will go to the model, and then that will go to the database. Okay? In your last week work, assignment 3, the model is your list and your item. And the database is your to-do, your markdown files, but this time it will be a real database tomorrow. All right, back to the browser. We need to remember the syntax. When you think about the browser, right now, think of 2 ways you hit the browser. The first way is you type something in the URL, right? And it will be what request is that? Is it a GET or a POST request?
Usually get.
Huh?
Usually get.
Is it? Yeah, sorry?
Usually get.
Yeah, it's if you go to the URL, you type something, press enter. The only way for you to do it is you can do a GET request. And similarly, you can create a script that just go and just check that page all the time. That's normally a GET request. You can check whether there's any new articles out today. You check where any new blog post, or the menu item. So go to the menu page to see the list of available dishes to order. Now, only so far we implement the GET to say hello, say goodbye. Seems fine so far. Now remember, we also have a post protocol, HTTP post kind of request. When do we do that? So on when you submit the form, or when you do it over Ajax, right? Ajax can do get and post, right? But here, just to remember that post list there is normally what you see if you're trying to create a new list, and then it's just, all right, I'm posting the name of the list here. Now save it for me, and after that, take me to some web page. So that's the browser. Okay. All good so far? Now let's look at the router. And the image is still here. Rails router is here. But now I want you to remember the syntax. And here is your chance to ask questions. You just did this lab, so you should know all of this. Okay? Let's start from the bottom. Line 8. Give me a thumbs up if you're very clear what it does. So, you don't have to be 100% clear, but when you just get something A/B, it seems that you can guess that this will go to the say controller and the goodbye action. Seems fair? And we do that the same with say hello. So line 8 is standard, it's fine. Then in your lab B1, you see that, oh, I can create a page that I want to visit / about, my whole page, and then click something, it goes to about. So if I just say get about, that's not enough for me to know where to go. Okay? And the syntax here we want to tell it is, this is just a hash, the arrow syntax here, but you'll see here that full, where does it go? This line 5, if I go to about on the browser, here, the Rails router will decide to go to some controller. What controller does it go to? Say controller. And this is the syntax, right? And you get used to it. So say pound about is the about action or about the method inside say. Okay? So because of that, when you implement the /files path, you should remember that, oh, I did /about. That's how you can implement files pound index. So this just looks nicer, that's all, right? Tell the user to go to /files. It's a lot nicer than say /file, /index. So it's more convenient, it's nice. There is one special syntax, which is if you go to the home page, it's just one slash. And you don't do get / or do something. There's a special command, there's a special function, method. So this route, except that syntax, you say root. And you say, well, if you go to root, I go to, what action is that? I go to root, what action do I go to? Index action inside what controller? What controller? List controller, right? If you can remember these guys, that's pretty much,
One question. What would happen if I put root files, and then below that I have files index?
If you put root files, what is files? Is it a controller or an action? It won't understand that as a path. Root takes one argument, and this argument has to be a controller action.
Right. So it doesn't matter that under that we define it.
There's no other root path. Here you go to /files. So the first line define localhost 3000 / that's it, or no slash, the same. And the second define how to go to files. The third one define how to go to about, and so on.
Okay.
So if you do root files, it won't work. It will be like, okay, I don't know what action you're going to. Cool. So that's the router. Now let's look at the controller. What can you put in the controller? And now we're going to just memorize a little bit here. Instance variables. Stan, can you show me what line do you see instance variables?
Let's see, 4 and 10.
Yeah, line 4 and line 10. Fantastic. Awesome. And it's besides instance variable, you can also see something called params. Params is a special method that Rails give you. It returns a hash, and in this hash, so it looks like a variable, right? But it's a method that returns a hash. And then you can use param square bracket name to get the value of the key name. Are we okay with that? Now, when does it happen? You'll see on the next page. How it works, you see it on the next page. But probably you remember that if I go to say goodbye, question mark, name equals go to school, you will get params go to school there. Params name go to school. You will see it again, so it's not a problem. Then remember Sinatra. In Sinatra, in each get something do block or post something do block, that's like an action too. But in there, you have to say ERB something. You have to tell Sinatra what view page to use, right? View template to render. Here, it will go to from controller to view here. It will be based on the name of this action. It will be based on the name of this action, right? But before we get to the view, review here. I have get say hello, therefore get say hello will get to this page. I have get say goodbye, so get say goodbye will get to this action. Yeah. I have get about, which tell me to be clearer here, say about, so it will go here. Okay? And it's okay if you don't do anything in there. Rails still understand that, pretend that you just call this render about. So Rails say, hey, controller action is done when you look at the view file and render it. Render here, we just look at the about.html.erb file and convert the whole thing into a string, right? Okay? So let's look at the view. So here I give you some default here for you to see. Okay, so in say controller, it will go to view, say folder, hello, say goodbye. You can start to see the convention and we can follow along, and this is how we get very productive. This is the view. The view can take advantage of what the controller prepares for you. So take a look at this diagram. This image here. I have the instance variable. Be careful, right? If you have an instance variable, let's say at time here, if the controller doesn't do anything, at time will be what value does at time give you? Does it crash? No, it will be nil. Nil. If you use a local variable, it will crash. But if it's a instance variable, it will be nil. So just be careful there. But it allows your code to be quite clean. We're using it because we define time here. Okay? So here's the view. The logic is just using the data. It's not trying to do anything crazy. And then there's something else that you're noticing. Some of these strange Ruby, names. But these are methods. I forgot to highlight, but link to is called a view helper. You will have a lot of view helpers which help you to write your code very fast, very clean. Okay? So it will generate HTML. Link to is a view helper that will generate the what HTML element? The A, and then the href will be this second argument, and then this first text is what's inside the A tag, right? The element text. All right. Now let's look at this guy. It returned a string. and it's a bit funny. Rails automatically give it a name for you. So in this case, because I have, it's quite crazy. So you get used to it. But you know, if you just say hello, it will know that it's a say controller hello action. It defines a variable. It's like a route helper for you called say hello path automatically for you, and then similarly say goodbye path. Okay. Now, with a route helper, you can pass in an argument, just like here. When you visit goodbye, not good. When you visit goodbye, right, and you do this, you click on the goodbye link, it will do HTTP get, go to /say/goodbye with this params. And this params will go to the controller, and then the controller will be able to use the params name. So that you can implement dynamic content. Okay? So use this screenshot, hopefully it helps putting a few things together. With Rails, we're learning sort of a lot of things at the same time. It's not like this one logic is really difficult, but it's just, I hope that it gives us the recap by just putting the picture together. So then the third layer is the, that's for tomorrow. But basically we'll use the model and database. For tomorrow we create a list, and an item, and then we'll see how that will work. And we will use some generator as well. So let me revisit the lab to explain the concept a little bit better. I will explain this. Now this is reviewing Ruby, so let's just use it to see how we use Ruby to troubleshoot. This is completely just Ruby stuff, but it could be difficult for some of us because it's using loop and everything again. So let's look at that. Let's try to do it together in class. So that's my lab C. Let's see, lab 2 B2 will be files, right? All right, so this one. Okay, where am I here? Practice 1 folder. Am I in practice 1? Yep. Okay, practice 1 folder. And let's look at this one. So those of you who are still working on files 1, we can review. Those who have worked on it, you can still contribute your solution or give me a better solution. So here's a cool thing. You can go to files, right? And then files go to index. And it's beautiful that Rails also provide you the lock. So I'm going to do that. Go to /files, press enter. That's the browser. And then go to the routes. The routes here. It knows your IP address and other things. It saved this content in a log file. It will know that this should go to field files controller index index page, and it has to be HTML page. So Rails can handle other types of page as well. Then you look at this this thing. How do we make it work for displaying files? So I go to files controller. Command P is very useful. Just type some word in it. You can type FC, which is like file controller. It will just find that, this is called fuzzy search. All right, so this is what I do. I would check initially. All you have is just this. I load all the files in the current directory, right? It will look like this. That's it. But I want to click on app. It will go to the next page. It will load the files inside app. So for that to work, I go to file/index here. You notice that I do files.each here. Initially, you only have this. Files.each and then link to file. I use files path. What is files path? We learned that if you go into this routes 3000. You type whatever thing, you see a lot of routes down here, right? And you have files path down here, so it's cool. This is a route helper. That's why it's a valid Ruby method name. But it takes, I call it next. You can call it current or anything. As if you visit this, it will be the next page. So I call this next. So it's passing the file. So you see that it's passing app. You see down here, right? Passing app. It's passing bin. Passing config. So then I'm happy. I save this and I go. Now I click this app. I go to next, which is app. Next app. Now in controller, now I have to handle more things, which is if, right, there is params next, which is this guy, right? If this params next exists, then I will load the files, but I don't know where. Load files inside params next value, like for example path. Else, I load files from the in this project directory. Right? So we do one step at a time. In here, I load files inside params next. Now I have to think. How do I load files inside app? How do I load files inside bin? You can use IRB, but I'm going to cheat for you guys to see. I can just type anything here really, and let it crash. Okay, that's not good. It's actually crashing because of syntax error here. So I just crashed normally like this. Okay, you see that I crash here, right? And you see that my parameter is next params app. I can play around with the dir thing here. So dir app will return me, oh, this app, that's not good enough. And if you look up Ruby, you understand that, oh, okay, I actually have to do dir app slash. So this gives me the files inside the app folder. So you can guess that I try to get params next. What is params next? What is it? Right? So you want to plus something like this. Okay? So you could see, you say, well, my path is params next plus slash star. Okay? And inside the path now, I can just say dir of path. So path is a string. And you can test this yourself. Paste this string here. I create a local variable path. And I call dir path. Then this will give me the files inside. So I get new files. I get new files in this situation. So looks good. I will reload this page. Aha. Right? And you can click here again. And then it will go to the next. Looks like it works okay. I want to test again, so I make this original, this file thing to go to the index. So link to files, go to the original files path. So it's very easy for me to click and then test that everything is working as intended when I look into the path.
What's the percent support?
Very good question. So Rails is really smart. When you pass in it as params, here you press, you do app slash. It will, here, if I do pass app slash assets, Rails will convert the slash into a percentage 2f to make it safe. You don't want it to be like this because it will be very similar to this. So it's like, you know, there's just too many slashes here that it could be just unsafe. It may think of a different route. In this case, it still works, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's safer to do this. If you pass a word with a space inside, you will see 20, percentage 20. If you see a slash, you will see a forward slash, so 2f. Now look at this. Next equal 2f, it looks like that, but when Rails parses in the backend, the string is now back to it escaped. So this is called escaping the string. into a URL safe format, but when Rails receive it, it will become unescaped in this format. Okay? Well, you will see it often, but all you care about is that you pass the string here, and Rails take care of converting it for you. This is why if you go to google.com or anything else, let's say google.com here, you see that if I say this is a string, and then you see the Q, you see the plus here, but some websites use plus, some use %20. If I do %20, it should also work. See? And then, for example, I say wanna. I don't know if you know. Do you see the 2F here? It get escape. Google doesn't want you to just pass in the slash here, and then the whole URL looks weird because the slash has a special meaning, right? You look at the slash; they have a special meaning. This is the action. Well, this is the route that go to the controller, and then everything after the question mark is the params. This is params Q, and then ampersand finish the first param, and this is param OQ. This is param GSL, and all of that. Does that answer your question? So that is the special symbol. There will be a lot more. If you type, I don't know, maybe a Vietnamese word, right? If I change it to Unicode, for example, it depends on the browser. So let's just try it. In this case, actually, it doesn't escape it, so it keeps it. There's some cases where, I don't know, maybe if I type Chinese in here, I convert it to some ASCII representation. In the past, this actually gets converted to different symbols like this one, but now the browser is supporting more like Unicode in the URL. So I'm not exactly sure, like, you know, depends on the situation. Okay, so I want to implement the // so that's a hard one. When I'm here in app assets, I want to go to the parent folder. Where should I go? I go to app. Is that right? If I go into app/asset/config, I want to go to app/assets. Right? So I'm implementing here. I'm implementing oops, sorry, this one is messing up my whole typing. So here I add something called link to, and then it has a dot here. That's the name of the text, and then files path. And for now, I don't know where to go yet. So next will be I don't know. All right. So I put it there so I can just see what's going on. So I refresh this page. You have this, and then I click on it. It will go to I don't know. Right. Now, while you're here, I want to show you to be confident to look at the HTML that this page generates. HTTP, and you can just see this element li. They all look very predictable. Just know that href here, that's how link to work. Okay? Link to work there. And if you want, remember the extra thing, if you do extra target like target blank, then it will show up as target blank here. It adds an extra attribute here. And it's in HTML, if you add target blank here, when you click on it, it will open a new tab instead of the same page. Technically, if you say target anything, it will go to a different page. But just now, it's a norm that everyone uses this word. Okay? So multiple link can point to the same target and it open in the same browser window with that target. But most of the time, we only use this thing. No one uses multiple window anymore. It's only multiple tabs. So now I need to fix this next, right? How do I fix it? if I go to link to here, I need to point it to go somewhere. So I'm going to create a variable called maybe go to parent. Is that okay? Go to parent. I create this variable. Right now, if you run this, parent is nil. So link to with nil will just go to itself. So that's not exciting. Parent here is nil. That's not exciting. So be very careful there. I just have a variable called parent. So now I have to create that parent. So something like this. In here, if I have files of this path, I want to define another thing called parent. For now, I just say parent is a string that go to, let's say, /app. So click this, and you see that I have this to go to app. Right? But I want to go to app/asset/config, really. So that's not good enough. So here is where you take the path and you want to remove something from the path. If the path is app/asset/configs, then where should I go? There's not config assets here. It's folder. Then where should I go? Parent should be /app, right? If path is config /routes.rb, then where should what should parent be? Config. So you can see the pattern. I always look at the slash and I remove the thing at the bottom there. So imagine if I split by the slash, okay? That's an array. So let's show you right here. If I have app/config your assets slash here config/manifest.js, that's split by this string. I get that. Then I say I get all the elements except the last one. Then I get that. Then now I join back with a slash. Then I get that. So I'm showing you this, it's just to help you build the confidence to write Ruby code. It's not really, everyone can come up with their own style. But this seems like a nice way to do things. So I will take all the element from, except the last element. Because if you do this, it's the whole array. So with this range, and I join back with the slash. This is your parent path. Now let's take a look. Reload already. So it should go to the parent. Except now that sucks. It goes to the parents with their, in the new window. So I remove that. Let's try one more time. Refresh. Go to the parent. We're gonna be okay. Uh-oh. That's not good. It's going to the parent that is. What's going on? I need to go back to files to test everything properly. All right, go into app. And then the parent here will be. It's not good. Let's debug together. This guy now, why is it still pointing to app? It should point to my parent, no? This parent is now when we get pretty confused like this, no problem. Let's use the view to display it. Right? I will type something like debug parent. Okay? And parent is now an app, so you can just, instead of debug, you can do anything here. Just print parent out, but maybe put it in a, border 1 pixel solid red. All right. This is your parent. Go in here. Parent is the same as this path. It's not good. I don't like that. I want, if I go here, it should go to /app, right? So one more time. If we go to app, oh, and Why is it? Yeah, this is the current place. It's not the parent.
Okay, so have you only removed the file name?
Yeah, I only removed the file name. That's not good enough, right? So I need to remove not just the file name. I need to remove both. Like if you take this string, you actually want it to go to, remove two. Remove the file name and then remove the parent folder. Let's see if it works. Refresh this right now. Okay, I am in app/assets. I can see config images JavaScript style sheet. And I click here. I go even deeper, but I click here. I go up one level. I go up one more level. It's good. And then this div is now empty. I can get rid of it if I don't like. Here's the problem. If I click here, it go up from some more. I don't want to show you my, I don't know if it even works. No, like this is bad. I don't want to show you my whole thing. So how can we prevent that? If else. If param, then, right? So then now I go back. Param doesn't parent doesn't exist. If parent, and then if you go into this though, then the parent will exist and you can go back. Going back doesn't work. And someone going back. So let's see here. I click here. I go back. It should go back to the. Here's the really tricky case. This is very small tricky case. When I click back, let's look at the log. Okay. I should go to this place, right? Once again, go into app. I click here. It should go to the parent, but it's submitting an empty string. So next is empty. Unfortunately, when you do dir empty, what do you get? It's very different from dir of star. So it means in this case, for some reason, if my param next is empty, then my path will become empty plus this one. Then I become dir/star, and this will display my whole hard drive. That's not safe, right? Imagine GitHub does that. You go to GitHub repository, you see this, right? So how do I fix this error? You can say if params.next exists and params.next is not empty. Okay, so there's a method empty on Ruby string. Of course, you can also compare it like this, and is not equal empty. But this is more English-like.
Does this return false or true, or if it?
You will need to do a not there.
Yeah. Okay.
If this is not nil, and this is empty, right? We do this so often in our code that Rails provide one method that you can use, which is a blank method, which returns true if. So for example, nil.blank is true. This is Rails console, so not nil.blank will be true, and empty string.blank will be true. Blank nil.blank will be true. Now when it's not blank, there will be a method it's called present. So I explained in the lab, you will see this present when you want to check that it's not empty and it's not nil. Not empty, not nil. So we're checking present.
Present is the opposite
of blank.
Okay.
So this is an extra string method that Rails give you. So now if I do that, then I don't have a problem with this anymore. That was a bug, right? My bug was that if I pass an empty string, I will get dir/star. That's not good. You don't want that. You want dir star or app/star or config slash star, but you don't want this slash star because that just displays the entire hard drive. No good. Yeah? So let's try again. App, go in here. Oh, now it works. Because it will avoid this block, but it just do this guy and there's no parent when you visit next with no argument. Nothing. It's the same as this. So that's how you finish the files browsing. And if you want to display a file, if I click on gem file here, you notice nothing here, right? How do I display this? How do I display this? Anyone finish that? So if you want to do the lab at home, you can look at this video, right? And just think about how you display that file. Okay, so first I can get rid of this debug thing, right? The red thing. Okay, so you say line by line, yeah? Line by line.
No, you can just do file.read.
Yeah, so in this case, I will do it this way, guys. If the current path is a file, if params next is a file, you see that? So if file is a file of params next, okay, so in this case, it's probably this path here. So I will say if file, this is a file, okay, I will create a content which is file.read path. Okay, so I have a variable called content. Now I go to the browser and I take a look. I think if there is content, then I will display the content. But if there's not, then I will display the files. Is that okay? Well, it's not really okay because there's li here. You should probably put it inside li. So I'll put it inside li here, like that. It looks ugly, but we'll see. Uh-oh. It's not good. Not working. Params. Let's see if it can actually find content. So one more time, I just enter random stuff, right? And I can just go in here, crash myself, and I'll see, okay, what is path? Oh shoot, that's wrong. That's not path. That's not what I want. I want params next. This is this guy. Okay, so take a look carefully at this. If I load this page again, here's the file. Okay, and if you want the file to look pretty, you can use an HTML element called this pre, which respects the spacing. And then it will look like this. It looks like your text editor, and you can add some style into it. Basically, now look at this guy. Okay, it's a pre-element, you know, add some style, maybe background, color, you know, maybe make it look darker. Not bad. Padding, 10 pixel. It looks like that. Let me put it down here so you can see. Oh, I look like a file browser. And then you click this, it goes to the previous one, and everything looks fine. Now you can display the file on the left if you like. So this is similar to sort of, if you want, you can implement something similar to this GitHub thing. If you click on the file, right, display that file, and you can have something that go back like that. So that's a file browser, right? So this logic is complicated as your code gets complicated, but I want to show that you can do one step at a time to check the params and look into the logic. Okay, so this seems complicated, but you will get used to writing a little, get more comfortable with the if and else and the each. Work with string like this. All right? Did anyone do the third one? So very quickly, the third one is this, root page. So this is what I do. Where do we go to find this code? If someone tell you to go to, hey, update this page for me. Let's use our MVC knowledge.
And you would go to routes.
Oh yes, fantastic. You go to this, and then you can, two ways. One way is to just look at the log, and the log will tell you where to go. Another way is to go to routes, and then you find the root, right? The easier way is just to run that, and then find, oh, it's in list controller index action. So list controller index action. And this is what my code is. It's quite simple, really. I load a few lists and I display them. And in each list, I display a few items. And then if you implement the controller for it, list controller, well, it'll be a little tricky, but this is the chance to revisit your previous code and imagine you can try to practice this. If it's still difficult, don't worry, you'll get more comfortable over time. But now with your Ruby skill, you should be comfortable. Just read and try to think about it one line at a time. I create an empty list. I load the files in the data dir. So here, data, I create a new data dir here. Data folder, where is it? There, I put 2 files here. Okay, similar to our homework. No problem there. And, I lost my list controller. Alright, and then I say, okay, in each list, I create a list. What is it? A Ruby hash. And I read the lines. I get the first item in the lines. But .shift means you remove the first item from an array. When in doubt, go to IRB and take an array and do .shift. And then I say, I also create items inside this Ruby hash, but no items yet. I go into, this is not, so this is each, okay, it's not map. Go into each line, and I will do the normal thing, get the 6th character from the to-do, on which that's the name of the item, and then just the done true or false based on the X or not X. Once again, take a look here. This is the 3rd character, X or not X. This is the name. Okay, so it's a nice exercise to refresh again your knowledge from the previous assignment. Notice I'm not using any class. I only use hash because it's convenient for this quick exercise. Then I can render it. The color looks really weird. Do you guys see that it should be, this should be more like, it should be more like that. There's all this gray color, but the projector is not showing. So you can actually practice creating a new item here. Add a form here, and send a post, define a route. Of course, you don't have to do that. There will be, a lab for that in the future. But yeah, so the idea is that if you want, you can add a form here. You would know how to do it with Rails, similar to Sinatra. Okay, so I think that's all for today. We still have time for you to do this milestone C. I actually added one more. Does anyone have question, then yeah, we'll solve that. Here's the solution I also post here. There's a screenshot there. So solution for this bonus part. It's here. And if you like to think more about MVC, how the browser works, there's a short video here from Linda, by Linda. Linda Training is one of the training websites. So it's like 4 minutes. Explain what is MVC for our web application. Cool? Okay, any questions about today's Rails, first day with Rails? Any comments? Is it too much? Confusing? A lot of files we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of box.
A lot of files. And you only use one generator so far, Rails generate controller. There are a lot more generators we can use.
So well, just can generate one time.
Come again?
Just can generate one time. Add another action there.
Generate one time?
Just can generate a controller one time. You cannot use the command to add more actions.
This is a very good question. So remember that I have a say hello controller already, a say controller. Normally, every time you finish doing something, you should commit. Look at this, right? These files are dirty. I go here. Oh, what did I change? Oh, no, don't discard. It's dangerous. I say, what did I change here? Okay, did everything look good? All right, fine. Let's remove this. All right. Then you commit, right? For example, for me today is I finished lecture, right? And I can add all of this one. I can just say yes here. Now, you ask, what if I want to add one more action to the generator? I mean, let's say one action like, what action should we have? Say goodbye, say hello, say about. Is there anything else? I don't know. Let's say a team page. So Ian asked, can I do Rails generate, which is you can write short like controller, say, and then team. What happens when you do that? Yeah, conflict. Then what do you do when you see this conflict? Huh? I click yes, press enter, and then it will be like, okay, there's another file, but this file I don't care about, so I can click yes, and look at this file, I click yes, and this is what happened, right? Well, the point is, this is designed to help you. It's like a knife to cut your meat, but you don't use it to cut onion, so in this case, it's not helpful. Don't use it, just go and define it yourself. You only do it once for the controller because then you don't have to type all of this code. If you define this team thing, you have to go and create the team.html file yourself, which is not hard. Go to app, views, and then under say and create this file, right? However, I say yes, so what happens now? I can go back here and I say, hey controller. Oh wow, that's cool. Look at that. It's by the way, I think let's just there are different way to view this. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I can see this here. I can say, hey, I don't want this file to change. Discard changes. Boom. So I get my file back. That's just why you want Git. This is beautiful.
If you create a controller again, and it will also remove the view.
If you create a Git, you just create a new file. Just generator is quite simple.
I just asked if we just replace the controller, it's also delete all the things that create in the view.
It doesn't delete the view. I mean, does it say it delete the view? It just say this file is conflict. Do you want to change it? Some files, for example, it say this exists, this folder exists, so it doesn't create anymore. Do you guys see this? For the route, it say I add one more route, but it doesn't delete the previous one. You still have it. You just have this line. So sometimes after you run Rails controller generate controller, you can delete it if you don't like it. It gives you this by default, the get say theme, but if you like to have theme instead, so how do you do it? You just say /_ theme and delete this guy. Do you know that this is the same? That is the secret. It's just the same as this, except that Rails, again, convention, it's a, who want to type this twice? So they just say, okay, if you don't type it, I'll type it for you. That's why it becomes clean. So Rails will just try to understand that for you, but it's the same as keeping them like that. Okay? So generator, if you don't like things, remember there's a destroy thing too, but commit often so you can always go back.
Destroy and I can choose who to destroy.
No, it will just try to destroy anything that normally it generates. Again, the tool should not be too smart, because when it's too smart, you use it for the wrong reason. If you want to destroy, you want to be able to choose anything, just go and choose and go to the left here and destroy it. Don't call Rails destroy. This Rails destroy thing is useful when I accidentally, let's look at this. I accidentally generate a controller called, let's say list controller, but then I make a typo, right? Index, and then I'm like, okay, crap. Now I have to delete all these files, and it's very common. Then you just go back and say I want to destroy, and it's done. But you don't want cases where I only want to destroy one file. If you want that, please do it yourself. And as you become good in Rails, you stop using generator. But the reason Rails becomes so popular in the world, because when it came out, it has this generator, and then you can show off to your friend. Here's how you create a blog website in 5 minutes. And the whole world just freak out. Oh my God, normally it takes an hour, now it takes 5 minutes. So that's pretty cool. You can show off how to create a website. And the truth is, this is the secret. Rails generate. This is the preview, right, to get you guys excited. Scaffold, it means it does everything for you. Controller view model. List. Right? And then a list can have a name. Yeah? So then that's it. This is the list model. This is the list controller. This is the list view. And there's a name column inside it. Before I do that, I'll just delete everything here. Alright, I'll reset all of this. So my Git is completely fresh. No changes, right? Let's take a look at this craziness. Rails generate scaffold. List is the model name and the name. Anything else in list? That's it, right? Just a name. Press enter, and it creates a database stuff, a model thing here for you. I have a list controller, fine. I'll just use it. And I have a list index file. It creates the view for you as well, all the view. And then the test. I don't use test yet, so no problem. You can I just let it force everything, and then you see that it creates a lot of files, but mainly view. Here's a view files, controller, styling, and there's even a scaffold. There's some CSS to make your code look not too terrible. So I'm gonna start the server. I'm gonna show you the routes page. It does this. There's one syntax. This one will create 7 routes for you. Wait, what? 7 routes? So here, if you go to blah blah blah, you can see the routes. There's one more condition. Your database is you need one Rails DB migrate. This is changing your database. We'll learn that tomorrow. But let's run the Rails server. That's the only thing you have to do there. And I run Now row routes, you can look at the routes here. You can look at the routes that it has created. It has all this extra thing for you. That is the route. Like if you go to slash list, you go to slash list slash new. Let's see. I go to slash list. Plural. Hey, looks nice. There's a scaffold. So I can create a new list. This list will be called to do. Create. The list is done. So I can create a new list here. It's called doing. And this is done. Again, you can edit it. Right? And so all these pages, all these forms, you can delete them, will be created for you. It looks really bad, but if you style it, it starts to look amazing. That's how, a lot of, imagine you create a blog website. This is a blog post, all done. And so we'll use this in our homework as well as it's like a very nice way to add data to your application. Okay? So generator is a friend that, just to get you excited. Don't need to remember anything with the scaffold stuff. But if you're curious, feel free to try it. Delete your project after you've done, name it like Rails new practice 1, practice 2, and you can look into the files that they create for you. Index.html. Oh man, what do they do in there?